it was much later than usual. It's actually already after 9 o'clock. But I wanted to show people two things here, because I spilled some on here too, and this came out really well. If anybody remembers, this is my folding table, which is off the wall right now and sitting over here so I can finish doing the staining over there. I didn't get all that way tonight. It's like the last little bit of the downstairs. It's just that wall right there. But I wanted to show you, if anybody wanted to know, with the Lifetime, this would have been the area that I showed in a previous video that I had a stain from the Lifetime where I dripped it. It was real dark gray, couple blotches right here, just about 2 or 3. Actually, right about there, I think. And if you look really, really closely, you can still see a slight discoloration in this light. I actually didn't even notice that discoloration without like taking this flashlight to it. And that, I have to know exactly where I'm looking. Which is right here with these in between these knots. Anyways, that was peroxide. Peroxide completely bleached it. On this counter, actually, I had a couple spots, and I might have to show, like, take a picture in the daylight or something, too, because this one wasn't even this white, I think, when it got here. So now that's the only thing you do have to watch. You could potentially over bleach, and now this won't focus. Okay, there we go. I mean, actually, it looks fine to me. But now, of course, I also sanded it down a lot. But yeah, so if you need to remove the Lifetime, if you accidentally spill on something you shouldn't have, which is basically the only thing that could be a problem is if you spill it on unfinished wood, in all honesty. But peroxide just bleaches that right away. So working on this. If anybody wonders, actually, the color difference between these two, the top part of this has currently one unsanded layer of boiled linseed oil, which is something that's going to be coming up later. That is something I'm going to be putting around the house. And if you can see, actually, because I have the fridge is still in this, stuff, because I'm not going to do it until I'm done sanding things, moving things, whatnot. I'm going to deal with that. But anyways, there you see a little difference between the part of the wall that has just Lifetime on it on the left, and the part on the right that has Lifetime and linseed oil. This is a butcher block with nothing but linseed oil, which, of course, I use boiled linseed oil because it dries a lot faster. But, and I like that. Now, anybody's worried about food safe. With boiled linseed oil, even with the stuff with the additives in it, no, as long as you let it dry plenty, you should be fine. Now, if anybody disproves me on that and I missed something somewhere in my looking into it, I can always just add a layer of poly over top of it just to seal it up and make it okay for, But I'm not going to actually be using this as a cutting board. I just might periodically set the random piece of food or drop the random piece of food on it when I'm doing stuff. So, anyways, actually, one more thing while I'm doing this, we'll just make this a little bit general updates while I have my light out. In the bathroom, I don't know if people remember it, I talked about sinking these in. I actually have I didn't actually end up having to drill all of these out to get at it. I did have to drill them up a little bit to get a big enough space, but I haven't put any Lifetime on here. It's my last thing I have to do before I head out the door. All I did was sand it. I need to clean some of the sanding off. But if you remember, these were screws that were just bare there. I mean, they weren't bare. They actually had some sort of a seal on them, so they weren't going to rust or anything. But I like this look a little bit better. Again, this part of the house was not finished, nor did I ask them to finish it in any way, shape, or form. But that is the Poplar dowel. So coming up here at some point, I'll have to show you what that looks like with the Lifetime on it. I already had some Lifetime on here, which is why you can see some of the darkening where I sanded. And it hasn't been on there long enough for me to be worried about putting a second layer without completely sanding it down. So just wanted to sand enough to make sure that this was nice and smooth here where each of these were. And I did that the way that I showed you with the other dowels. You just a little wood glue, stick it in there. We'll jam it in there because make the hole a little smaller than the dowel. Just make sure you got a nice snug fit. And cut off with any kind of a nice flat, fine-toothed saw will work. A dovetail saw works really, really well for something like that. And anyways, and then of course sand it down just to make sure it's completely flat there. And we'll get to see eventually what that looks like with the Lifetime, and then marine varnish on it. So good times. I think the bathroom looks fantastic right now as far as with the Lifetime, and you can see the difference there where as far as I've gotten, because I just did these trim pieces with the boiled linseed oil. And I'm going to do everything at least 2 coats of boiled linseed oil. I might go up to 3. I'm doing very thin coats, which should do better protection. Multiple thin coats rather than just, trying to do one. Alright, so this is pretty much it. And I'll keep you all updated.